Thank you very much. I will tell you something about the Danish warning system. Late in the presentation, I will also show you how we make the warnings in Ninjo, as we use here in Denmark, the same as you use in Switzerland and Germany and Canada. But we have different setup in the different countries. I will speak about our warning system, our dissemination of warnings to the police and the emergency management and the emergency management in the municipalities. And then I will reflect a little bit about the role of the warning. And then, as I told you, I will have a demonstration of Ninjo, a warning layer here in Denmark. But let's start with the beginning. The Danish warning system started with a hurricane in 1999, in the beginning of December, where we have this hurricane, and it's still one of the most intensive hurricanes we have had in Denmark. At that time, we did not make any warnings except the marine warnings, the gale warnings and the storm warnings for the marine areas. But the warning for the land area was included in our normal forecast. And although we have written with capital letters in the forecast that there will be a hurricane, it disappeared many people, and it was the evening where we have one of the big Christmas meetings in Denmark, where every people was out celebrating and drinking, and so it was really a bad situation. And after this situation, the police and the Danish emergency management and DMI go together. And in January year 2000, we make an agreement that we should send out warnings. And we still have nearly the same weather type as we decided at that time. So it was the beginning of our warning history here in Denmark for the land areas. And we have the system here in Denmark where we have different warning types. We have the wind, where we start with gale, and then we have storm and severe storm and hurricanes. We have severe rain, we have cloudbursts and thunderstorms with hail and gusting winds, and we have flooding and not food as is standing there. And it's a new area which we start to build 3 years ago. Before that, we have argued for 10 years that with the climate change, it was necessary to have warnings for flooding in Denmark, and nobody had the responsibility in Denmark. But after the catastrophe in Germany in 2021, the politician found out that it was good that we also should make warnings for flood. So we start to build a new area, and the next year we shall send out flood warning also. We have snow, drifting snow, blowing snow, severe snow, and blizzard. And we also have warning for freezing rain and dense fog. And sea level, we have both local sea level warning and general sea level warning. And then we have temperature warnings, we have heat wave, and in fact, we can also make warning for cold air, but it have never been done yet. So nobody knows that we can have so cold weather here in Denmark. The warning system, we decided after 2010 that we need to send out information, although we don't think there should be a warning out. So we make a new category called DMI Watch. So if we have a small likelihood or small probability, we send out DMI Watch, so people can follow the weather and see if it will be upgraded to a DMI warning. And normally we say that if the chance is more than 50%, we will make a DMI warning, and if it's below DMI, below 50%, it will be a DMI watch. The DMI warning is the typical, as we know from Meteo Alarm and all other countries in Europe, with the three colors: yellow, category 1, amber or orange, and red. And it is a little bit different. If it's wind or sea level, we send out the warning 36 hours before. We expect the event. But if it's rain or snow or freezing rain, it is around 24 hours before. And cloudburst, thunderstorm is 6 to 12 hours before. And dense fog, it's 3 hours before. But when we speak with the emergency management and the police and other citizens, often they like to be prepared before we send out the warning. So the last 8 years we have made this pre-warning where we send out information in same style as the warning to mention that people should be prepared or be aware of an event or a warning type. And we start up to 5 days before and say be aware of. And when we come 2 to 3 days before the real warning time, we start to use be prepared if it's more than 50% and be aware if it's below 50%. So it can be a little bit difficult, but that is the system we use right now in Denmark. And here you can see the category for wind and water level, which we send out 36 hours before. And we start with around 20 meters per second in average wind. All our wind warning is for average wind and not for the gust. We mention the gust in the warning, but the value as we use as critical for sending out warning, or the criteria for sending out warning, is the average wind. At the moment, we have two orange or amber wind warning because we have joined violent storm and storm together. But in the future, I think we will make two different categories with orange, because the impact of a storm and violent storm is very different. So when we describe the impact in the warning, it will be more clear if we divide storm and violent storm from each other. And the wind is the main factor when we speak about water level rise in Denmark. So we also send out the warning for sea level 36 hours before. And we have 4 different criteria in Denmark for the general sea level warning. In the Wadden Sea, it is 2 meters and 40 centimeters, and normal we have not normal, but we have seen up to 5 meters sea level rise in that area. On the central west coast of Jutland, we have 1.9 meter as criteria, and we have seen up to 3.5 meter sea level rise in that area. The domestic area is 125, 130, and we have generally seen 150 to 80, but seldom we have seen a little bit more than 2 meter in that area. The precipitation, as I mentioned, severe rain, where we start with 25 millimeters per 6 hours, or 30 to 50 millimeters within the warning period, or within the 24-hour. And we can say that these values is, we started with values around these amount, but then we saw that Germany have a little bit different and Sweden have a little bit different. So we try to coordinate the values with the neighboring countries. Cloudburst is starting with 15 millimeter per 30 minutes. And when we speak with the emergency management, we know that it is maybe a little bit too low value. So I think in the future, we will start our cloudburst with 20 millimeter per 30 minutes. Freezing level, it's very seldom in Denmark. I think it's nearly 10 years since we have had big problem with freezing rain, but it can happen, and it is normally small amounts we have, so it's a few millimeter in our criteria. And snow, we have drifting snow with more than 10 meter per second, although we can have a small amount of drifting snow already with 7-8 meter per second. We start our warning with 10 meter per second. And then we have severe snow when we have more than 15 centimeter within 6 hours. And the blizzard is more than 10 meter per second and more than 10 centimeters in 6 hours. But it is also seldom we have snow. We have one snow situation last year, but it gets more and more seldom, so we can see the climate change at the moment. The heat wave, 28 degrees over 3 days in average, so we can have 27.5 one day and 28.3 the next day and 29 the third day, and then we will have a heat wave. We choose 28 degrees because there's a lot of rules of how to work in Denmark, and they are all have the limit around 28 degrees. Also in schools, there should be some special thing if the temperature is more than 28 degrees in the classroom. So we choose 28 degrees, and therefore we also choose 3 days, so it should be a little bit longer. Dense fog and freezing fog is less than 100 meter here in Denmark. When we send out warning, we have an example here. We have the general information with when we issue the warning, when it starts, when it stops, what area. And then we have a very small text for the warning, just the most important thing. And the forecaster cannot change the text in the warning. So it is this standard text always when we choose a yellow warning for heavy rain or severe rain and cloudburst. But in the area below where we describe impact and action, the forecaster can write something about uncertainty, or if it's in a special area or there's something special. So we can change the text there. The reason why we choose a standard text is that it is easy to have in Danish and English and Greenlandish at the same time. So it is more quickly to send out for the forecaster. Besides these warnings, we have a communication area on the front page of our homepage where the forecaster can describe more precisely what is the uncertainty and what happened, and there he or she can write more free text, but it is only in Danish, so it is still more easy to make than to also write it in English and in Greenlandish. And on the warning page on our homepage, we also have a possibility to discuss the uncertainty of the warning. If we expect that there is coming more rain or something like that. On the right corner in the top, you will see a map over the Danish area where we have 98 municipalities, and we can make a warning for these 98 areas. Although the forecaster make a polygon, we do not send out polygons yet. It is our dream to send out polygons, so it can be come into other authorities' decision tools, so it is easier for them to work with the warning. But at the moment, we still use these 98 municipalities. And then for the coastal effect with high sea level, we have 20 areas, and then we have around 150 stations where it's possible to make local warnings. I'll come a little bit back to that later. Although we have these 98 municipalities, Denmark is a very small country. So when we send the warnings to Meteo Alarm, we divide it only in 8 areas. So when you look at Meteo Alarm, you will see 8 different areas there. But in the text, we say what municipalities the warning is valid for. So there's a little bit discrepancy between what you see on our homepage and what you see on Meteo Alarm. In our dialogue with emergency management, we found out that there is really different approaches to look at uncertainty and to look at weather warning. If I start to the right side, it is the normal risk matrix, as you know. And as a forecaster, it is often convenient to start 38 or 32 hours or 120 hours before and start a little bit low with the impact and with the possibility. And when we come closer to the event, we get more certain, and we can rise the probability, and we can go to a yellow warning. And when we come close to the event 24 hours before, we can see it will be a red warning. And that's the way we normally deal with things that we are a little bit there's a lot of uncertainty 4 or 5 days before, but when we are only 1 day before, it is more certain warning. But when we speak with emergency management, they say we cannot use that. So in their world, they have action card. So, for example, we have a picture to the left with water tubes, and when they shall put up water tubes to avoid flooding from the sea, they make action card, and maybe they have action card on 120 centimeter, and the next one on 130 centimeter. But if we 22 hours before say, oh, we expect 120 centimeter, then they start to put up the water tubes someplace. And if we rise it 48 hours before, they do not have time enough to move it to the right place. So if they do not get the information 72 hours before, they have not time enough to make the right preparation. And that's why when you saw our scheme of our pre-warning, you will see that we have yellow and orange and red color, although we only in the text write be aware of or be prepared. But we already up to 5 days ahead show what color we expect it to be. And then in the text we try to say if it's likely or it's unlikely, because then they know in the emergency management that they should be prepared for 130 centimeter and take the action for that. So it helps the emergency management to take the right decision. And on the right side, we see a typical city in Denmark. Many cities is lying with a stream and too close to the sea. And when the sea level rise, they normally block the stream and pump the water from the stream above the block, so it come into the sea. Else, if they don't block this, the river or the stream, the seawater is running into the city. And last January, we have these forecasts for sea level. We have a low pressure moving right over Denmark, so it was really very there was a big uncertainty for what sea level we will have in the area. When you see the different curves in different colors, it is the forecast, and there's 6 hours between the forecasts. And in the top, you will see some dots. It is a little bit more thick line for you maybe when you see it. And you see that it is nearly 20 centimeter higher than the highest of our forecast. And at that time, the city, you see in the bottom, say, okay, 120 centimeter, then we don't need to take precaution of the stream. So they did nothing, and they did something else somewhere else. But when the water was coming, it was up to 142 centimeter, and we saw that the water was running into the city, and there was a lot of damages there. So that's why we try to set the color before and try to say we expect this color, so they could be aware of what happened and have time enough to be prepared for the incoming water. And let me show you our determination of our warnings. Here you have the situation from January, where we have blizzard in north part of Jutland. We have a DMI watch for severe snow on north part of Zealand, the island to the right or in the middle in this picture. And we have severe rain over south part of Denmark with a category 1 or yellow warning. And on Zealand and the islands more south of Zealand, we have a category 2 or amber orange warning for rain. And what you cannot see below that or on the south half of the Denmark, we have a DMI watch for flooding also, because we have a lot of groundwater in that area. The water in the streams was high and the small lakes. But this is a typical situation we have when a low pressure is coming in with the cold air in the north and the warmer air in the south of the low pressure. When we send out a warning, we make telephone calls to the national police and to the emergency management on national level and to the coastal authorities. And if we have a category 3 or red warning, there is some special crisis management in Denmark, and they will gather, and DMI will be a part of this. So we will move to the place where the police have this special crisis staff, and we will be there. Besides, we call these, we send out mail to different local or management which take the first part of the emergency work. And we send out to municipalities and to harbors and to citizens. So, and we send out on all different levels. I'll come a little bit back to that. And normally we send the text, as you saw before, and we can send this picture so they know how it is also in the area around them. And we can send out text messages on to people's mobile telephone, and we have push messages to DMI app, and of course we will show it on our DMI app and on our homepage. So we really try to have a lot of different communication channels to come out to the people. And when I see the people, this is the landscape we see on national level. We have the Danish police. In many countries, it can be the emergency management, or it can be the defense, which is leading the crisis system in the country, or it can be civilian regions. But here in Denmark, it's the Danish police which lead the crisis management. So the information to the police and to the Danish emergency management, here called DMI, is really important. And if we have sea level rises, the Danish coastal authority is also very important. Besides, there is a lot of infrastructure owners, and we send out to railway, we send to the road authorities, and to ferries, and to airports, and a lot of people who have infrastructure on national level we send out. And then, of course, the media is our friend to help us to distribute our warning. The new thing which is coming in Denmark is the society or the citizen. Of course, we send out the message on our homepage and on apps, but also we see that Red Cross get a job if we have a big weather events in Denmark, and we on regional or local basis we'll see that people gather to take care of the dikes around the low areas. And also on the regional or local area, we have local media, we have a local criteria infrastructure, and the most important part is civil protection in the municipalities. They take the first step, and if they cannot manage the situation, they can call to the Danish emergency management to get more help. But also the municipalities who make all the work in daily life, they also help, and we also send out to the harbors and the local police. So we distribute our warnings very broadly. And we can see the role of our warning. And here I will show you this map over the Danish area and the sea level rise problems we often have in Denmark. Generally, we have 4 different values for Denmark. You can see it with black. But if you take the small sound between Denmark and Sweden, we can see that some places in the north, they have some critical things. So they need to have the warnings already with 80 centimeters. A little bit to the south, we have another city, and they are more prepared. So there the criteria is 150 centimeters. Then we come to central Copenhagen, it's 140. And in the south part, it is around 100 centimeters. So the vulnerability is very different from place to place. So in fact, these local warnings for sea level, we have 79 different criteria. So it is a tough job to have this duty to send out warnings to all these places when we have a high sea level in Denmark. And we send out the model values and the 1 hour's latest observations and the forecaster's assessment of the model. And we send it out every second hour at the moment to these places when we are above the criteria for the warning. So one role of our warning is to secure that different critical infrastructure which have a big vulnerability, that there is a warning so people can take care of that in good time before. But we also have to see with the warning system in these years that it is not only what is vulnerability right now. We also have to see what is the climate change here and what is the climate adaptation the municipality make, because in the future we have to change the warning system so it will match the new situation we have. So that is the brief thing about our warning system, and then I will show you our Nino system. So you can see how the forecaster made the warning here. Yes, good. Here we have Nino, and we have the warning layer, and you can recognize all the municipalities, and we also have the sea marine areas where we make forecast. So now I have made one forecast. I will just cancel it, and I shall go here. I also need this create cancellation. So just to remove it. Yes, good. Now we have a fresh map here. So when the forecasters like to make a warning, we start here to go to the map, and on the right bottom we say new warning, and we get this template here. And then we can make a polygon and say it's in this area here. We expect that we should make the warning. Of course, we can also in Nino put our model layer, so we can draw the polygon around, for example, accumulated precipitation. So when we have the warning here, we decide that it will be a warning or a watch, which is this, and we can decide that it should be wind and what color we expect. And then we have this information here that we will have, for example, gale with gusting to storm, and we can choose this, and we have the fixed values nearly here. It started with 20 meters per second, but I can say it should go up to 25 meters per second, and you'll see the text will change here. And the gusts start with storm 25 meters per second, and standard is 28. But if I think it should be 30, I can just click there, and then I have to choose a direction. And normally in Denmark it's from west, so I can choose it. If I like, I can change the additional text down here, which is the impact and the actions we normally have here, and I can put in something else, and then I can say normally it jumps. If I choose wind here, it started 36 hours later, so it should be easy and not so many clicks for the forecasters to go to the right starting time. But of course, if we think we were a little bit too late, we can go down and say we will have the warning to start a little before, and then we can say how long time do we think it should be, and we click on warning. Now I can. It's like if you shop on the internet. You can put more things together, so the emergency management will get one message which is with all the warnings. So if I like one more, I could go here and say I would like one more here, but it's only a watch for the same values. All right. West, and I can't remember, was it like this? And no, I can't remember what it was, and I have to select an area, so I can select this area here, And now you see I'm overlapping the two here. I'll remove these. And now I can, and it's on some other screen. I will find it. 2 seconds. There. So now I should find the mouse again. So here I can see the forecaster can see what municipalities. We can see what time it is, and we can see the two different types there. So we can check it before we send it out. Now it generates the products, different products, and it will start to send in a few minutes. And I can see that it succeeds. Everything went well, and the forecaster can see who get the information, can see the different products. This is for our homepage. Let me take one more interesting. This one. And you can see the map, which is produced for the homepage also. So it is possible to see if everything is going well. We have this green thing. If it's not going well, I can say send again, and I can choose that we should send to DMI, and it will be sent again. So that is this is the way we make the normal warning. Besides, we have all these local. We have this dashboard for sending out the local warnings. I have chosen here to have overview 42 hours ahead. And here in one of the 20 areas, I can see that there's one station which is orange, and it means that it is 10 centimeters from the critical value we have agreement with. So if it was red, it was above, and we should send it. So here I can send in information, and they will get information about the last values in observation, and they will see the model. And here the reason that there is so big difference is because it's wrong. There's something wrong with the measurement here. And up here, the forecaster can make a comment and then send it out. Let's take a better one. Here you will see where we put in the comment, and we put in get the observation, and here we get the forecast, and we can decide how many hours ahead we should send out information. So it is possible to send out information up to 120 hours before here. So if they call and say, what about tomorrow? We can just go up and say, okay, you'll get 48 hours model information now. But here we have the overview. We have the limit here, so the forecaster can see the limit. We have here possible if there is some problem with sea level measurement, we can change to another one. So we see that it will change, and we can see we can change if it should be 1 or 2 measurements we send out, and in the same way we can decide if it should be the raw model or a filtered model, which is filtered so it started with the same value as the observation right now. And when we have sent it out, I will show you this. This is our homepage, and we get this icon, and we get information about that we have a category 1 or yellow area, and we see here, if you click here, you can see both the category 1 warning or the watch. And if you like more details, we go to this area, and here the forecaster can make this free text about the warning. And if people click on a municipality, they will see the information here in Danish or in English. And in Greenland, they can also choose Greenlandic language. Besides, I mentioned that we have the forecaster's comment or forecaster's assessment. So it is also possible to have information here about the situation and in a more free text than the more normal warning. And with these comments, I think I will stop my speak, and if I go over here, I will stop here and ask if somebody have questions. The threshold we discuss every year with emergency management and with the police, and ask if they think it is the right level we have. And when I mentioned, for example, the cloudburst, we have got information of where we have taken all the measurements from 2010 to 2021 and see have there been a cloudburst in the area, and how many minutes have the emergency management be sent out to help there. So we have information about the value of the cloud burst, and if it give work to the emergency management. And they have a database, so every time they make some work, it is registered. Yes, it is. I don't think that we will make for all the municipalities to metro alarm, because we have 98 municipalities in Jutland and to the border to Germany. It's quite big municipalities, and it could be okay, but graphically it will be very difficult here on Zealand, where we have 48 municipalities in a very small area. Some of the municipalities is 2 times 2 kilometers, so it will be very difficult to have all these municipalities. We can send out metrograms or for the sea level, but normally we only send the map out, and we show the map on our homepage. We try to communicate it on our homepage, but I must admit it is not well understood, and especially the difference between DMI watch and DMI warning. We have put a lot of effort in the communication, but there's still a lot work to do, although we have had it for 10 years. The Finance Act pay the most of the warnings here in Denmark, and we have nothing for the public sector, but we have some special it's not assurance, but it's some catastrophe group where everybody pay a small amount. It's at the moment it's around €6 every year people pay. And if we have 20 years sea level rise in an area, the people can get money from that, and they pay also DMI for all the sea level warnings. Yes, it is active in night, and when we have a upcoming event, we have more people. Normally we have 1 to 2 people working on sea level forecast when we have the big situation, and then we have 3 to 4 people working on the normal forecast and the land warnings. And here in Copenhagen, where we make the warnings, there is around 45 forecasters totally. But at the same time, in winter time and in daytime, there is maximum around 7-8 forecasters at the same time. No, that's a problem. Yeah, we have make some sentences that the forecaster can use in Greenlandic, so it is easier for them to say, especially over north part, especially over south part, and sentences like that, or highest over east part, or something like that. The Faroe Island, at the moment, we do not make these warning for severe weather on the Faroe Island, and the Faroe Island have right now, or we are in discussion right now, that they will take over all the forecast for Faroe Island themselves. So I think in the beginning of next year, nobody will, or DMI will not make forecast for them anymore. I am not sure. I don't think it is available, but I think there is some plans in the future, but at the moment, no. We can say that we started 3 years ago to develop a system for flood forecast. And at the moment, if we have severe rain or we have cloudburst, we have a description of flooding in connection with these weather. But we will have the first hydrological model here in Denmark next spring, and we should start send out warning for streams, flooding around streams and lakes from the middle of next year, which is a little bit scaring to start so early, so quickly after we get the first model. During the last 2 or 3 years, we have start to gather information about measurements from streams. We did not have that on DMI, so we really start from zero 3 years ago. So at the moment, we have 4 hydrological people working in developing team, developing this project. And they have given the forecasters 25 hours education. That's all. So we do not have, as many other countries, this group where we have both hydrological people and meteorologists, and they still start to merge to be hydrometeorologists. Yes, they can. Yes, we have we have some evaluation of the warnings, and we use, can I remember what it is called? Dependency, symmetric independence score, where it normally go from -1 to +1, but because the politicians like to have it, we have made it so it is going from 0 to 100. And if we over forecast or if we have a miss, it is bad. And only if it is in one of these 8 regions again, it is a correct warning. And on the scale from 0 to 100, we are lying around 86. Amid that our big problem with the quality is a cloudburst, which have very few kilometers so it is very difficult for us to have that. So we have a lot of over forecasting for cloudburst.